Okay, so before we go on, another thing I wanted to tell you about that was learned from doing electrophoretic karyotyping was this idea that there were some organisms that have differences in chromosome number, and particularly this is in fungi, and the question is, why do they have differences? How is it that members of the same species can differ in chromosome number and not have a serious problem associated with either having that extra chromosome or not having that extra chromosome? So what we're going to talk about is something called dispensable or B chromosomes. And the idea is that if you see two individuals from the same species of fungus, and let's say one of them has 16 chromosomes and the other has 17, the question is, what's the difference? Does it matter? And I'm going to give you one example where it really does matter. So the fungus we're going to talk about is called Nectria. And I'll have to apologize for the spelling because I'm not sure I'm going to get it right. I keep wanting to write the wrong letter. Hematococca, I believe that's how it's spelled. But if you were to Google Nectria, you'd find out the correct way to spell this. So Nectria hematococca is a plant pathogen, and it can infect a variety of plants. And the reason that we humans care is because it tends to infect agricultural crops. One of the crops it can infect is peas, right? Peas, people like to eat peas. That's an agricultural product. It can infect those plants and cause disease. But not all individuals of Nectria hematococca can do that. And it turns out the difference between those that can infect peas and those that can't is a 1.6 million base pair chromosome. Okay. And isolates that don't have this chromosome, they're perfectly healthy. But what they cannot do is infect pea plants. So if you have this, you can infect peas. Without it, you can't. So there are other species of plant that can be infected if you're missing this chromosome, but pea plants you can't. And it turns out the reason that is, no matter what else is on this chromosome, and at this point, they probably have sequenced it, so they determined the nucleotide sequence, they know what genes. But the main difference is, if you have this chromosome, you have a gene on it for pisatin demethylase. And it turns out that pea plants pisatin, which is an anti-fungal compound. So if you're a pea plant, you don't want to be infected by fungi. You make pisatin, which interferes with fungal growth and development, probably kills the fungus. But if you have this particular chromosome, you have a gene for an enzyme that detoxifies pisatin, and you're able to then infect pea plants. Okay? Questions so far? Okay. Now, So this chromosome, you don't have to have it. The only reason you need it if you are a Nectaria hematocarca is if you want to infect pea plants. So this is an example of a dispensable chromosome. You can get rid of it. And the only thing that will happen is you won't be able to infect peas. So if you have it, that's an added bonus because then that's an extra host species that you're able to infect. But you can get rid of it, it's dispensable. And the only thing that is noticed is now you can infect peas as a host. Okay, any questions? Okay, now you can